Hey, I'm Mitch Costanza, and a friend of mine just hit me up and said, hey, Costanza, I just got HBO Max, and since you're the human IMDb, which is true, but only for certain decades, she said, can you come up with some titles that I've probably never heard of movies that are really badass? And I said, oh, so you want me to make a list, huh? So I jumped into HBO Max on a mission. And I scrolled around and I found some movies that really hit me and that are special to me and have scenes that I remember. And I found out there are ones that she had never seen. I came up with a list I'm going to share with you today. Go ahead and throw me a like, subscribe to my channel. You'll be notified anytime one of these videos drops or one of my reaction videos. And let's get started.
Duncan, on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you think you are?
A 6.
I think you're a 3.
The Way, Way Back is an all-time favorite of mine. This coming-of-age story is about Duncan, a sensitive, awkward teen forced to spend the summer with his mom, played by Toni Collette, at her boyfriend Trent's summer house. Steve Carell plays Trent, and he does an awesome job at making him super unlikable and adds to Duncan's longing for acceptance. Then Duncan finds all that and more when he meets Sam Rockwell, who hires him to work at a water slide park. Duncan finds a fun new home, and so do we as the audience. This movie hits every note necessary to make me cry, laugh, and cheer on Duncan endlessly. What's really cool is that it plays its most emotional moments with subtlety and more realism, which is really cool, and yet it's still able to make those little big moments super powerful.
You got a hell of a kid here.
Hold, please. Hold. Just hold there.
Not gonna lie, even the trailer still chokes me up a little bit. The directors of this movie are super cool, and I'm not one to rep bands and movies and buy t-shirts, but at the screening, they were giving these out, and I had to have one. And since I wear my t-shirts for about 20 years, I got this for at least another 15. And one day, I'm gonna go to Waterwiz.
How to squatulate.
ABSQUATULATE. Correct.
Bad Words is an absolutely genius black comedy. Jason Bateman is a mean-spirited adult on a mission to win a prestigious kid's spelling bee by any means necessary. But things start to get complicated for him when he's befriended by his competition, played by the memorable Rohan Chon. The movie is as offensive as it is original. This movie is a blast.
Your chair called me for help.
It's like, help me. It's so heavy.
She visited.
In Rabbit Hole, Nicole Kidman and Aaron Eckhart play a couple mourning the loss of their 4-year-old boy.
God had to take her. He needed another angel.
Why didn't he just make one?
This film examines how each of them grieve differently, both alone and with each other, without falling into constant melodrama and cliche. I was hooked from the first scene and was super invested in these people finding even a moment of peace. Nicole Kidman balances sarcasm, vulnerability, and rigidness impeccably, and one of her best performances yet.
Feels like maybe I don't feel badly enough for you. Maybe I'm not feeling enough.
Something's gotta change. I can't do this like this anymore. It's too hard.
Gina was holding girls in her front room. You can't choose your friends, Danny.
Based on a true story, Al Pacino brings Danny Collins to life. He's a famous aging singer void of deep meaning, so he travels to Jersey to meet his abandoned son, played by Bobby Cannavale, for the very first time. Danny gets rejected by his son and the hotel manager, played by the quick-witted Annette Bening, who is not at all impressed by Danny's stardom.
How do I look?
Well, you look slightly ridiculous.
The performances here are great. The relationships are rich, and they don't lead to a big Hollywood triumphant moment, but rather rely on subtlety, which I found super refreshing and incredibly moving.
Dinner tomorrow?
You know what I liked about you? You never give up.
Some dinners are worth fighting for.
Excuse me. Can I help you today?
I'd like to buy a car.
Hi, I'm Dr. Eugene Landy. Do you know who this man is? Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys.
Love and Mercy is a biopic about Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys. The film is less about music and stardom and more about living with schizophrenia and how it affected the people around him. The film jumps back and forth between a young Wilson, played by Paul Dano, when he hears voices and experiences psychosis. John Cusack plays Wilson in the 80s when his life is run by his slimy con artist doctor, played by Paul Giamatti. Now, I know people with schizophrenia who have said to me that this is a far more accurate depiction of the illness than so many other movies. You don't have to know any of the upbeat songs of the Beach Boys for your heart to open right up to Wilson's journey with mental illness and to Melinda, the woman who loved him, when you see these incredibly potent performances.
We're gonna walk out of here right now, and everything will change.
I should have never taken that package. I'm not a drug dealer. I swear to you, Dad. Believe me, right?
Of course I believe you.
Snitch is the last time I saw The Rock as a real guy without superhuman strength and muscles and with the odds stacked against him in a film that's based on a true story.
We need your son to help us make arrests before we can help him reduce his sentence.
After his son is falsely accused of dealing drugs and sent to prison for 10 years, The Rock goes undercover to take down the cartel kingpin, played by Benjamin Bratt, in exchange for his son's freedom. The main action scene is super intense and satisfying, but it's not ridiculous and over the top, and there's more story and suspense here than action, with a father-son relationship that gripped me emotionally from the first scene to the last.
Hey, John, you sure you can pull this off?
Trust me.
I wanted to ask you something because you're a doctor, right?
Yeah.
I don't like myself sometimes. Can you help me?
Barry, I'm a dentist.
Punch Drunk Love follows Barry Egan, played by Adam Sandler, in his first serious role as a lonely, awkward salesman who still gets teased by his 6 sisters. His life changes when he meets Lena, played by the lovely Emily Watson, who sparks up a connection with Barry. But the relationship gets threatened when an extortionist, played by Philip Seymour Hoffman, who's so much fun, comes after Barry and his money. This movie is wacky, uncomfortable, and I've never seen a story like this. It involves frozen food and is filled with moments and lines that I still remember 20 years later.
I have love in my life. It makes me stronger than anything you can imagine.
He needs me, he needs me, he needs me, he needs me.
Okay, so this next film, Defending Your Life, is part of the Criterion Collection. What does that mean, the Criterion Collection? It means that basically HBO Max has a whole section of older movies that have been restored to look and sound amazing, which is a great way to see an old movie classic you've never seen before, or in my case, with some of them having grown up on VHS, seeing these movies so clear and widescreen and amazing is really exciting. So definitely check out that section. Defending Your Life is my all-time favorite Albert Brooks movie. It's a genius and hilarious high-concept rom-com fantasy without many big effects. Albert Brooks dies and wakes up in Judgment City. There he gets a lawyer played by Rip Torn, who's hilarious and must persuade a judge to let Brooks move on to a better place, which is like heaven, but they don't get religious. Unfortunately, it seems like he may be forced to return to Earth and have to try life again. But during his trial, he immediately falls for the Meryl Streep character who's destined to move on to that better place. Streep gets to display more of her authentic, lighthearted, lovely self in this role rather than transform into another amazing character which we're used to. The unlikely pair's dialogue and chemistry is so much fun that I still get emotionally involved in wanting them to ascend together. Yes, this film looks dated, but it has one of the best afterlife stories I've ever seen, and the characters will likely suck you in like they still do to me.
Most people love it. Some it makes nauseous. Don't worry about it.
Okay, not gonna lie. These trailers got me so juiced that I'm gonna go watch at least one of them right now. So jump in the comment section, let me know which one or ones you picked and what you thought of them. I can't wait to read them. Thanks so much for watching and reacting with me. Subscribe to my channel so that you can be notified every time a new video drops, which is at least once a week. And if you're digging what you see, throw me a like, give me some comments, bring on the request, and I will see you on the next video.